to a week of camp absolutely free. So if this is your first time coming to Little Galilee this summer, we want you to come. And first timers, we will pay for your first week of camp absolutely free. We're able to do that, Seth, by people who just love and give. And that's what Little Galilee is founded on, is just people that selflessly give, selflessly pray, and selflessly help out at Little Galilee to get it to where we are now. I mean, we are standing on the shoulders of people who have sacrificed a lot for the camp.
New at Little Galilee this summer will also be a pre-K camp. APER points anyone interested in the upcoming summer of camping to visit littlegalilee.com. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. 26 minutes ahead of the hour here on this Wednesday morning. Under partly cloudy skies, it's 37 degrees. Feels like 32 outside.
Local information that makes a difference. Here's your regional weather.
Today, sunny temperatures in the mid-40s. A west-northwest wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Cloudy tonight, lows around 27 degrees. A north-northeast wind at 10 to 20 miles an hour. A slight chance of showers Thursday. Otherwise, temperatures around 40 degrees under cloudy skies. North-northeast winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Chances of rain and snow through the evening on Thursday. New snow, less than an inch. Temperatures in the mid-20s. Friday, early lingering snow, otherwise cloudy, lows in the temperatures, in the mid-30s for Friday. Saturday, sunny and a bit cool, temperatures of 27, northwest winds at 20 to 30 miles an hour. And Sunday, sunny and breezy, temperatures in the lower to mid-50s. So get to Sunday, things really take a turn as we look into next week as well. We had the folks at the National Weather Service on earlier this week, and sounds like things will moderate after this week. So looking forward to that. 36 in Normal, 36 in Hayworth, 35 in Leroy, 38 in Farmer City, 36 in Champaign, 37 in Monticello, 37 in Decatur, 38 in Mount Pulaski, 37 in Lincoln. 40 degrees in Springfield this morning. It's 35 in Peoria. 37 under partly sunny skies. It feels like 32 in Clinton. Northwest winds are calm, 71% humidity with 10 miles of visibility on this Wednesday. Get the latest in local weather at DeWittDailyNews.com.
CEO Paul Skowron here from Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. Preventative health care protects you from infections, whether COVID, the flu, or other respiratory ailments. Schedule your appointment now by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
When it comes to fire and water restoration, ServPro of Piatt DeWitt counties can make your emergency or disaster like it never even happened. Find out all the services they provide by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
It takes balance to be successful in farming, because what you get out of it depends on what you put in. And Corteva Agriscience gets that. Introducing Utrisha N Nutrient Efficiency Optimizer, a biological product that naturally captures nitrogen from the air. It's a sustainable way to add balance to your traditional nitrogen methods and maximize your yield potential. Embrace a balanced approach to nitrogen management this season by visiting corteva.us.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online, 24 hours a day.
You're listening to The Morning Show on the Big 1520 across Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence, and the WHOW Morning Show streams live to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. In studio with us today, we've got Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers and Officer Mike Bennett. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Seth.
Thanks for coming out and talking with us. And Chief, Officer Bennett recently received a really great honor from the State Board of Education. What's going on here?
He did. Superintendent Mr. Nettles informed me and that Officer Bennett, our school resource officer, has been for
6 years.
6 years now. Does a great job in the schools and has introduced some new programs there that we can talk about a little bit this morning. But Officer Bennett was recently a recipient of the Award of Meritorious Service in the Educational Service Personnel category by the Illinois State Board of Education. So
Cool.
Something we congratulate him on and are very proud that he's a representative of our department and our school district. So does a great job out there. As you know, no shock to us. He's done wonderful things out there over the last 6 years, and glad that he's recognized now on a state level. So very good.
Yeah, no, Mr. Nettles has spoke highly of you, Officer Bennett, and the things that you do with the kids. And not only that, working with the chief in the DARE curriculum as well. So you're a well-known face out in the district, it seems like.
Right. And we're right in the middle of as a matter of fact, right in the middle of our DARE curriculum for this year. And it's going well. We always enjoy meeting with the kids and having that opportunity on a weekly basis. I think it provides some real benefits.
What's it mean to you to have this recognition, to know that folks think that highly of you?
Well, it's a high honor because we also had 4 teachers in the district that were recognized. So to be included in that group is a pretty big honor. I was surprised when Mr. Nettles called me to his office, and it's never good when you get called to the boss's office and he says, "Go ahead and close the door real quick." That's never a good thing. But
Been there.
In this case, it worked out very well. I was very surprised and honored that they recognize the work that I do.
For sure. And I know we could go even beyond, just being in the school with the DARE curriculum. You are also instrumental in kind of a self-awareness curriculum, safety self-awareness curriculum.
Right. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that the last couple of years because of all the restrictions. And I'm hoping that next year we get to reintroduce that program back to both the junior high and the high school. Along with that program, as a matter of fact, today, I'm going to Life Bridges Church School in Clinton and give a talk on what it takes to become a police officer. One of their students reached out to me and actually did a ride along with me and then asked if I could come to that school. So we're branching out just a little bit outside the traditional school environment.
Well, how is the school year going, Officer Bennett?
It's going very well. We've got a lot of things going on. Some athletic activities are starting up while others are ending. Probably the biggest news right now is we have our annual play here this coming weekend, Shrek the Musical. I really encourage everyone to come out and just experience what talented kids we have in these programs. I try to make everyone that I can, and it always amazes me at how talented our people are.
I met with those kids yesterday. It sounds like a good group. So looking forward to promoting what they have going on. So
absolutely looking forward to it. And every time I go to one of the plays, I always am introduced to someone that has just immense talent that I had no idea.
Right.
And it's very surprising, but they do a great job. So come out and support the theater group.
Sure. Chief, anything from your perspective?
Well, just a couple things. Officer Bennett's quite humble in his description of what he does at the school and the impact that he makes on those kids, starting, clear down to the very youngest of kindergarten and first grade in Lincoln and Douglas schools, but on up through the high school and the programs that he himself has introduced to our district. But, he mentioned that I guess the temporary suspension of the self-awareness program in our physical education curriculum. But where that has been starting in, I believe, 7th grade. So even though we've had to, unfortunately, temporarily suspend that because of COVID and just the different things going on in the district, those kids, no one has really missed out on it, because even those seniors that'll be graduating, they had that back as sophomores. And when we're able to go ahead and reinstate that program, we'll pick right up. So nobody has missed out on it. But that's been a very good program. He mentioned the driver's ed program, but he also talked about branching out into the Life Bridges school, I believe it is.
Yes, Life Bridges.
But he's also been, we've had numerous requests, and he has been instrumental in helping other districts, including Blue Ridge, I know that he's got a great partnership with Leroy, where he came from and actually where the self-awareness program initiated. But he's also been very instrumental in helping other districts pilot their own programs or imitate, carry on the program that he's developed here into other districts. So it's broadened even beyond the Clinton School District. But
I'm glad you mentioned that too.
Very appreciative of what he does there. I see the kids interact with him from the grade school on up through the high school. Going to be very hard to replace here in about 4 or 5 years when he retires.
Chief, your mouth's off a little bit, I believe.
How many handshakes do you know?
You know what? I really have no idea. And
I've heard all the handshakes with every student. So,
and it's really weird because the way it kind of manifests itself, when that student comes in front of me, something just clicks and we have our handshake. So I have no idea. I really don't know how that works. It's just that particular student, and okay, this is what we're going to do, and we do it.
It's just muscle memory at that
Apparently
point.
it is.
Yeah, sure. So very good.
Well, it's the rapport that he's developed among the students and the staff alike. But I see it not only in the schools, but then those kids grow up, they graduate high school, they're members of our community, and I don't know many people that don't know Officer Bennett. So
Sure.
Very, very good and a great representation of the Clinton Police Department.
Very good. Again, Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers and Officer Mike Bennett in studio with us here for this morning. And gentlemen, as we speak here, warmer weather is around the corner, which we had really great weather on Saturday, and I saw a ton of people out. That was really good to see. So how about the warm weather, Chief, and what does that bring to mind for you?
Well, you're absolutely right. We were 70 degrees last Saturday, beautiful day, a little bit of wind, but a beautiful day. And then that it's typical Midwest, then we're in the 20s the first part of the week.
Right.
So I was just listening to your forecast, and it sounds like we've got a couple days of more winter-like weather before we return to spring-like weather. Sunday, I believe,
Sunday,
and maybe
Monday,
into the first part of next week. But we're in the Midwest, and we come to expect that. So, but what we do know is that as we get into mid-March, those blasts of winter weather generally aren't going to last very long. So with that, over the course of my career, and I think Officer Bennett would probably agree, people ask me, what's the busy time of year? And quite frankly, the busiest time of year for us is the first blast of warm weather in the early spring. And I think we've talked about in previous years and previous conversations that, those first warm weekends is when everybody kind of spreads their wings a little bit from being cooped up in the wintertime, the snow, the cold weather and things, and everybody gets out. So it is an increase in activity for us. It's an increase in crime for us typically. So many people think that when school gets out in the beginning of summer, and we do have kind of a surge of activity then, but really these first few warm weekends, usually in mid to late March or early April is when we are at our busiest. And again, I attribute that to kind of being cooped up through the wintertime. So we'll certainly start seeing an increase in foot traffic with that at all hours, during the day, but also through the evenings and late night hours. So with that, we often see an increase in vehicle burglaries.
Now we're seeing folks bash in windows and take things out, correct? I mean, that's what burglaries.
Well,
bring,
that's what you would assume, but actually that's not the most common. And we've talked about that numerous times before. And that's where we just say, please lock your vehicles. The actual number of forced entry burglaries is very, very low. I mean, a minute percentage of the thefts from vehicles that we have. So parking in well-lit areas, locking those doors, removing the valuables before you lock them. So many of us, and I have been guilty too, have a console with change in it or something of that nature, or leave a purse with a debit card in it, fortunately, we're no longer in the era where people break into cars and steal stereos and CDs. That was a big thing 20 years ago, but nobody listens to those anymore. It's all live streaming music. So, but
I'll have I still have a case of CDs in my car that I'll pop in every now
outstanding.
and then.
Outstanding.
I'm not surprised.
Outstanding. Which brings me to a comment that I heard yesterday, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Can't wait for that.
Anyways, in terms of the vehicle burglaries and the thefts from vehicles, remove those cell phones, remove those chargers,
Who leaves their cell phone in their car?
Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, I think that's oftentimes by accident, but even going to a store or something, maybe leaving it in their car. But park in a well-lit area, first and foremost, just remove those valuables and lock those vehicles. It's just too much of a crime of opportunity. So in addition to that, as people get outside and they start to enjoy the warm weather with their neighborhood cookouts and get-togethers and stuff, we just ask you to be a good neighbor. Keep that music, keep that noise down to a tolerable level. It's imagine if it was your neighbors on a day that maybe you were trying to relax and enjoy some peace and quiet outside as well, getting some yard work done. So we just ask you to be a good neighbor and be conscientious of those things. Report the crimes that you see, or if you see suspicious circumstances, please report those. As I've mentioned numerous times, we'd rather get 100 calls that we didn't need than not get the one that we did need. So what might seem so minor and minute to you could turn into something that we've been looking for. So when you see that suspicious person maybe looking into vehicles late at night or something, please call, give us a location. If you are a victim of a trespass to your vehicle or a theft from your vehicle, no matter how minor, please report that to us. It helps us document and track crime trends and where things are happening so that we can then redirect patrols or maybe focus on different areas. We're a small town, so we oftentimes, it is town wide so many times,
Right.
but nonetheless, it helps us track where we might have problem areas. So we ask you to just take that initiative to report suspicious behavior, report crimes that you're aware of, and work with us. As we talk about the vehicle thefts, two of our favorite topics is also the pets. We ask you to keep your animals on a leash, with more people out walking around and stuff. We ask you to keep those dogs on a leash and certainly pick up after them. If you're taking them for a walk, we do have ordinances on both of those topics, being leashed animals and animal excrement, that you do have an obligation as the pet owner to pick up after your pet if you're out for a walk. So with that, also, it's a popular time of year to do that spring cleanup. I heard Commissioner Buchanan the other evening at the city council meeting mention that the yard waste facility is open. Don't quote me on it. I believe that it's Tuesdays, Thursdays, and maybe Saturdays. So there's plenty of opportunity as you're raking up leaves, picking up sticks, things of that nature, to get those disposed of out at the yard waste place. So I'll remind you that there is no burning in the city of Clinton. We encounter very few of those encounters anymore, but we still every once in a while, we have a new resident to town. We certainly appreciate the cleaning up of your property and whatnot, but there is no burning in the city of Clinton.
Sure.
So,
Officer Bennett, do you mind real quick speaking to, as weather increases, more kids going to school on bikes and walking to school and all those things, and just a reminder for the public on those things?
Right. As the weather clears up, we see a lot more of that. And just like when school starts, we have a lot of kids out and about on the roadways and the sidewalks. Just pay attention. Take that extra moment to look, because some of our little kids are riding bikes or walking to school now. So I know we're all in a hurry to get to where we need to be and get to work or get wherever we're going, but just take that moment to avert a tragedy, because that's absolutely what it would be.
Sure.
As we get the warm weather, you can just expect the numbers to double almost daily of people out and about on the bikes and walking.
Very good. So, gentlemen, anything on that we missed you want to put out there for us?
No, but again, just to on top of that, not only to and from school and whatnot, but in our residential neighborhoods, I tell kids in the schools, I tell parents all the time that's something that I don't think kids do enough of today. Get out away from that computer screen or that mobile device and get outside, get dirty, play outside, and expend some physical energy. So as you're going through our residential neighborhoods, certainly be more conscientious of kids outside playing and things like that.
Sure. Very good. Gentlemen, let's take a time out, come back with some more. Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers, Officer Mike Bennett in studio with us. More to come on the morning show.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Wednesday morning. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn mostly lower, beans higher, and wheat starting the day lower. March corn 7.57 1/4, up 2 3/4. May corn down 6 1/4, 7.46 3/4. December corn 6.40 1/2, down 3 1/4. March beans 17.28 and a quarter, up 23 3/4. May beans up 8 and a quarter, 16.98. November beans 14.74, up 3/4. May wheat beginning at 12.29, down 57.5. July wheat down 65 1/4, 11.30. September wheat 10.47 3/4, down 52 3/4. March bean meal 4.89.90, up $22. March bean oil 82.12, up 2.44. That's a look at the opening numbers at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Wednesday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
New trucks and SUVs are coming here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. This is Scott Baum. Yes, we have new inventory arriving, and you can see what will arrive right on our website. Just click on the pre-order and reserve tab. From there, you will find vehicles in transit and vehicles in production. Or just call our sales staff and we'll help. Find Silverados, Equinoxes, Blazers, including Tahoes and Suburbans, as well as our complete Buick line of SUVs. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
MR Systems Wireless has an immediate opening. They're looking for a full-time internet installer to perform the initial setup of wireless internet and voice over IP services, as well as troubleshoot and repair wireless and phone services for customers. You'll be responsible for the basic installation and maintenance of wireless equipment. No experience necessary. Includes health benefits, mileage reimbursed. Starting pay is $15 an hour. Find out more and apply by going to mrsystemswireless.com, then clicking About, then Employment. Equal opportunity employer.
This is the morning show on 92.3 FM in DeWitt County, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guests in studio, Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers and Officer Mike Bennett with us. And Chief, as we catch up here for this morning, of course, it's tax season, which means the scams around taxes are, I'm sure, in full flight. So how about this?
They are. You know, it seems like the scammers never take a break. It's 365 days a year, but we do see maybe a little bit of an increase at tax time because you know, there's more people out there with disposable income from their tax returns. So we do see an increase in not only telemarketing, computerized or, you know, electronic scams, but even local scams in terms of things for sale, things of that nature. So yeah, it is kind of a boost in scam season, I guess, when we talk about tax time. So, you know, it's important to understand that they work off the odds of numbers. You know, I myself receive multiple scam calls a day. And the best thing you can do with that is just ignore those calls or immediately hang up, you know. But so many times they do sound very sophisticated. And what they're looking for is that 1 in 1,000 that they may catch on a day that they're not tracking real well. You know, an elderly person that's maybe having a little bit of confusion at a time. They can be very, very convincing. But we ask you to obviously never give your personal information out over the phone and never pay for anything over the phone that you didn't initiate. You know, when somebody calls you that, you know, they can identify themselves as IRS employees and give you badge numbers or employee numbers or, you know, office numbers, things like that sound very sophisticated, but the IRS is not going to contact you by phone. And you know, anytime you have a question about that, don't hesitate to reach out to law enforcement, have law enforcement check into that. We would much rather have you do that than take an assumption on your own and end up falling victim to one of these scams. You know, another one that we're seeing quite frequently now is I don't know I want to describe it, but the companion scam. You know, that kind of they reach out and you know, they're hunting you know, folks that have been widowed or widowers, you know, and they're basically offering companionship and just creating an acquaintanceship online or something. Well, and lo and behold, then the next thing you know, you think of that as the young folks with the dating, but it actually becomes very, very prevalent with an older generation. Mm-hmm. And that's, I guess, how I'm going to refer to it, as a companion type scam. So, but it is, you know, never pay money via wire or a gift card. That's another big one now. Rather than giving the money, what they want you to do is they want you to go purchase a money card or a gift card of something and transfer that to them. Mm-hmm. It provides them another blanket of security to hide their identity. So, the best thing that you can do is hang up. Do not entertain those conversations. So oftentimes people, they kind of want to play with it. When they know that it's a scammer, they want to play along and play with it, and then slam the door on them later. And really, that's not something that we recommend, because that is then monitored that, all right, we made a call to this person. They stayed on the phone with them for 10 minutes. You'll find that person will then be inundated with scam attempts. And I think in their system, it shows that, okay, here's somebody that didn't hang up on us immediately, and they entertained our conversation. We may want to keep trying at this one. So we strongly recommend that you immediately hang up and just discontinue that phone conversation. Do not entertain them in any way, shape, or form.
Sure.
So the sheriff's office does maintain, and I'll let the sheriff talk more about that at a different time, but they do maintain a scam hotline at 217-935-7867, where you can call in there if you've received a call or received information that you think may be a scam. Obviously you can certainly call the Clinton Police Department, or you can call the sheriff's office scam hotline and run that by them to see their thoughts on it and confirm whether it is or isn't a scam.
Sure. Mike, I know you want to chime in real fast. What do you have for us?
For those of you that wonder, does it really happen here? Within the last month and a half or so, we had a lady here in town that was scammed out of at least $50,000 that we know of.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And there very well may be more, but it was along the lines of she had won a prize and needed to pay the taxes on that prize, and they were going to deliver the money in the new car. And every time they didn't show up, they had a reason why they didn't show up that day.
Sure.
But it was at least $50,000.
Goodness gracious. Gentlemen, good to have you in. Thanks so much for the info you brought to us today. Again, Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers and Officer Mike Bennett. Network News is now.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton 92.3 FM.